Hey guys, it's Alison Creamer, and I am here with Conversations with Creamer. I am sitting at the Hook Law Center. Yes, a firm. Boy, that's news for me. Actually, I want to introduce you to Shannon Laymon-Pecoraro. Pecoraro. So I met Shannon, I guess it's been maybe 5 years ago now. She actually was one of those internet inquiries that us as agents go, oh boy, this is a 50-50 shot. And Shannon first main need was, I need a big closet. So I meet Shannon and her husband, and we tour some homes. And lo and behold, 5 years later, we now have become not just a realtor client, but friends, and watching each other's kids grow up. So Shannon, thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me, Allison.
So tell me a little bit about Shannon and what got you into this field of elder law, and then we're going to describe what elder law is, give a couple tips, and try to help people understand why they might need your services.
Okay. So I am a twin mom, so they keep me very busy. They're almost 2 years old. I moved here from Maryland, and I just happened to fall at Hook Law Center. Very interesting because I thought I was going to go into corporate law. I wanted to do mergers, acquisitions, big time stuff, and it really just fell into elder law. I feel blessed because I actually get to go home every day and feel good about what it is that I'm doing, helping people who really need my help at the end of the day. And I've now been doing it for 5 years, and there is no plan for me to go anywhere. So I'll probably be staying in this field. I'm also lucky in the fact that Andy Hook is actually one of the first certified elder law attorneys in the country, and in the Commonwealth of Virginia. So I'm backed by one of the leading experts in the country.
So you are a full-fledged attorney at law?
Yes.
Yes, okay. I just want to make that clear. You are an attorney.
Yes, I am an attorney. Sat for the bar and got licensed.
That's awesome. So there's going to be two topics that we're going to kind of go deeper into today. One is, what is elder law? How to protect yourself, and when do we get started? When do we actually look at that? So explain, what is elder law?
So elder law is really just planning for a chronic illness. So a lot of people automatically assume that the word elder means that it's for elder people. However, tied in with that is actually special needs planning as well. So it could happen at any point in time. I do a lot of work with personal injury attorneys who may just need help once they reach the settlement on how to protect certain benefits. How do I make sure that Medicare is protected? How do I make sure that Medicaid is protected if it is a claimant who receives Medicaid? SSI for a person with Down syndrome or cerebral palsy. How do we protect those benefits? We also work on how to apply for those benefits or make sure that people stay within the eligibility criteria. So it's kind of, one of the big parts of what we do, but we also work on just simple estate planning. Everybody 18 and older needs to have some sort of plan. They automatically assume that, my mom and dad can handle my affairs, that my husband's going to be able to handle my affairs, and that's just not the case. So we may have to go do guardianship and conservatorship if they've not done their estate planning documents. The other thing that we do is once somebody dies, help navigate through the estate or trust administration process. So that's pretty much what we do and what we as elder law attorneys do. Other people specialize in other things too, but we just don't go down.
So elder law is not just for the elderly.
No.
It's for special needs, things of that nature. That's interesting because I thought, I am hitting the 45 mark, so I guess to some I'm getting old, but in my mind I'm still young. So now that we've established what elder law is, obviously being in real estate, we sometimes help mom and dad transition to the next stages of their life, whether it be just downsizing everything and protecting their assets as they get older, or even unfortunately making that step from being at home into nursing home, or one spouse passes away and now all of a sudden all of these things come up that the other spouse is responsible for that they might not be responsible for. And that's kind of what you help with, right?
Absolutely. So one of my major practice areas is what we call long-term care planning or asset protection planning. And that is when one spouse or a parent needs to make that transition move. So our job is to convert what are called countable resources into either a non-countable resource stream or a new income stream, so that not 100% of the assets need to get depleted on that nursing home that costs about $8,500 a month in this area. Something like vent care can cost $20,000 to $30,000 a month. Sometimes they need our help deciding, what nursing home is appropriate or assisted living facility is appropriate for mom and dad, and obtaining either Medicaid or a VA pension benefit to help pay for that cost of care.
So if you were to put an umbrella over it for the spouse that is still here, still, living quality of life, it's really protecting them from having to dissolve every resource and asset, while most probably would, because they want to take care of their spouse, they want what's best for them, but then they're left with nothing. So it's kind of helping that umbrella of protection, setting those stages up?
Absolutely. If husband needs to go into the nursing home, he can't have any more than $2,000 in his name. Well, to get down that low for a couple, we don't want to impoverish that spouse that is home. Also, with $2,000 in your name, that's not going to go very far for those extra above and beyond things. I like to use weight loss and weight gain commonly. If you're now in a wheelchair, so you're not getting as much exercise, you may have put on weight. In the alternative, you may not want to eat as much, so you may lose weight. So just being able to purchase new clothes that actually fit you, if you don't have that money there to be able to do it, it becomes tight. So that's just a kind of a logical example that I can give to my clients why you want to do this. But for a married couple, I can preserve almost 100% of the assets by just converting them into that non-countable resource or an income stream for that spouse, which is good. So typically when somebody needs that long-term care, they're really looking at doing that kind of last minute, what we call crisis plan. They see that something is going on. Mm-hmm. Tied with that, unfortunately, what we do see a lot of times is if you have two spouses in their 80s, one taking care of the other, they don't necessarily want their spouse to have to go somewhere. Sometimes they're stubborn, don't want people inside their home. But a common concern for family members of those individuals is what happens if a caretaker gets hurt trying to take care of this other person.
Oh, that's a good point.
And so being able to step in and kind of help navigate that process as well is one of the important factors. I mean,
it's all these things that you just don't think about until, like you said, crisis planning. So I'm hoping that as people listen to this, they at least kind of say, I may not feel like I'm there, but it could be something that I should look into, because I don't want my spouse to be crisis planning at the last minute if something should happen to me. And I think that's the way people should look at it, is at least understand their options, understand some of the things that they might set up now that makes it a lot easier instead of waiting till that last minute. So one last topic. What happens if you have somebody, we'll say, who's, 45 and 57? And you know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
So I've worked really hard trying to pay off all of our debts and have no mortgage. And, my husband is a little bit older, and statistically, there could come a time that he's going to need care like that. So you said some of this can start very early. So just because I hit my 45, oh, yeah, I did just tell everybody how old I am, but I will. It's not too early. It's not too early at that stage.
No, starting to line assets up, or at least having the basic documents, advanced medical directive, power of attorney, and having certain provisions in those documents, such as the ability to gift to a spouse, mm-hmm. and be able to gift to yourself if you were the agent. Mm-hmm. Because without those specific provisions in the power of attorney, you can't do the planning that you need. So having that sooner rather than later is probably the first step. Also making sure that assets are titled, jointly or in the younger spouse's name, whatever the case may be, so that when the time does come, it's a little bit easier to get a hold of, helps make that transition a little bit easier.
So do you work in conjunction with, I did a podcast with a financial, what did he call himself? He said he wasn't a financial planner. It was millennial finance. And essentially, what we find is you have, say, 5 key people that really help you plan. You'll have your accountant, you'll have your financial planner, you'll have possibly your elder law attorney, you'll have your corporate attorney, all of that kind of stuff. So is that conversations that you look at the whole picture of what somebody has and you kind of work together to make sure it's done properly?
So our firm's probably a little bit different than other even elder law attorneys in our area in that we do have a very integrated, comprehensive approach. We don't believe in just a legal approach. We believe that a true comprehensive plan is both legal and financial in nature. As a result, even some of the attorneys here are life and health insured licensed. They have their Series 65, so that they're also registered financial, that they can be financial advisors. And Andy Hook is actually a certified financial planner. So when we do that, we do have resources to be able to reach out to the financial planners. Number one, understand what they're talking about.
Yeah, because if you turn a cog on one and you don't know how it relates to the other, you've got to kind of know, we're turning it up over here, which is going to cause this effect over there. And that's what I have found in my grown-up life.
Yes.
Is I have 4 or 5 people that are doing things for me, but nobody's talking to each other.
And we very much believe in having those open lines of communications to make sure that there is a comprehensive approach, that the financial planners understand what we're doing. We work with realtors on a regular basis to make sure that when we are selling real property, that we're not detrimentally impacting, this 65, 70, 80-year-old woman, because there are very strict rules for the Medicaid planning that we go into and help navigating that process.
Wow, it's a lot. and it's like, I'm good at what I do, and I've come to realize you can't be good at everything. We need to reach out and find people that are good at what they do. And we've actually been talking about this conversation for about a year or two now, getting together and creating, looking at what I have and what's going on. So, well, I know that wasn't necessarily the super fun podcast to listen to, but I tell you what, Shannon is a joy. You will love sitting in front of her. She's if I might say, a beautiful young lady with a great smile and just really easy to talk to. And I have seen this woman in action. I have seen her fight for her client and get what she needs under the law, and she knows how far she can take it. And I've been witness to watching that. So I think it's wonderful.
Don't let Alison fool you though, because when we went to close on my house, she had to call the day before closing and tell the mortgage company that they had messed up on their good faith effort to sell, or the good faith estimate sheet or whatever, and they had to eat a whole bunch of fees. So if it wasn't for Alison advocating at that point in time, I would have been out. I think it was like $8,000 or something that they wanted me to come to the table
I am so glad you remember that, because I think I was just doing my job. I don't remember.
Oh, I remember, because when they wanted me to come up with an extra $8,000, I was kind of like, wait, what are you talking about?
Wow.
And we were living in a hotel because we had packed up all of our stuff and we're staying in the hotel when we got that phone call.
With no big closet.
Yeah, no big closet.
Well, I encourage you to reach out to Shannon. She is at the Hook Law Center, which is located at 295 Bendix Road, Suite 170. You can find their website at hooklawcenter.com, and you can reach Shannon via email. We will have her contact, phone number, and everything in the show notes. But Shannon, any last comments that you would want anybody to know?
No, if you're having any concerns, just know that we're out there. I come to find out that people really don't even know that there is such a thing as people helping to protect resources so that long-term care isn't eating everything up.
And you don't have to be rich. This isn't a rich man's attorney. This is, I've worked hard for this, and I want to make sure that it's protected for me, my heirs, and my spouse, or my loved ones, or my significant other when the time comes.
Absolutely.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.